tenacious about your recovery if you want to stay sober. Take it away, Sam.
We're here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is ironic because last week we were in York, Pennsylvania. It was a little bit later at night. It's 11 a.m. Better podcast time, if you ask me. But I'm here with my, I would say, new friend. I've only known him for about a year, Sean Fetters. Sean, how's it going? Back from Pennsylvania, from Georgia. I had always heard about him through mutual friends. He kind of did similar work that I do way back in the day for a different provider, and then he kind of sailed off into the distance that is known as Atlanta, Georgia, and went down there and like really made something of himself. And since I met him, I can only say that he is he's a beacon of humility that I always really admire in recovery. Like when I talk to guys that have been sober for years and numbers of years, and I can have a real conversation with them where it's like, we're not always going to do this thing perfectly. I'm not so certain of how things are going to shake out, but I'm just going to kind of trust in the process and trust in what I know and ensure that everything's going to go exactly as I hope it would go, but I'm going to be okay with it if it doesn't, right? Mm-hmm. Like Sean is that guy to me. Like I've been going through a lot lately. I'm moving, which is a privileged problem to have, but someone I would lean on in that process is Sean. He's a father, he's a husband, and he's been sober for a while, and he does great work. So Sean, I appreciate you giving us this time. I know you're a busy man.
Oh, absolutely. This is a privilege. I'm really grateful for what you guys do, and I'm always grateful for an opportunity to give back.
Spread your story around. Experience, strength, and hope, right?
Yep.
That's what we do.
Strength and hope. I can do that. So I am from Downingtown. I used to say I was from Philly, but that was just to be a tough guy. But
of course.
then I got sober.
That's like what all people do from the surrounding
Except
Philly area.
one guy in this room. That would be me.
Who's
I really
actually
am from Philly.
Oh, so am I. Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, yeah, Germantown. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's part of getting sobriety.
Excuse me, brother. Don't. Just because I don't live there now.
Greater South Philly Heights.
Yeah, he's from South Philly. That's the real city. Yeah.
So we grew up in the suburbs of Downingtown, Irish Catholic, a lot of kids. There's 5 of us. Dad's an alcoholic. Was an alcoholic, and I think childhood was just very scary for me. It's the best way to describe it. I think we moved when I was like 10. Dad was still drinking, and he told my mom that we're moving to South Florida because I want to stop drinking. Not the best idea. So we moved to Coral Springs, Florida, right outside of Fort Lauderdale, and that's where I remember most of my growing up. Again, fear is the best feeling at this point in my journey that I can identify with. As a child, there was some, I was cross-eyed, so that was a weird experience.
What, your whole childhood?
Whole childhood. So back then, what they did with that is first you wore a patch, right? Then you got big glasses, and if all else failed, they would do the surgery to cut the muscle. So the surgery didn't happen until I was 15. So
oh, man.
Self-esteem was just, I was petrified of girls.
Right.
I wanted to talk to them, but I absolutely could not. I had an older brother who took karate and protected me, but also kicked my ass.
I was going to say, that probably went both ways.
We went with when me and my dad, when we would get in a argument, he'd put us in the ring in the living room and, put on the boxing gloves.
He would say, take it to the Thunderdome.
Take it to the Thunderdome.
No way.
And the only times that I would win is if I was really mad. But most of the time, Danny was taking karate. So
you were a cross-eyed kid, and you took down a kid who was a karate, like a black belt in karate?
I can't remember whether he would let me win or, you know what I mean? He was my brother.
Yeah.
He had a vicious streak in him, though.
Dude, in your head, you won, and that's really kind of all that matters. Yeah,
then.
That's
and
awesome.
I was trying to, my dad's always been my hero, from as far back as I can remember till the day he passed, which is kind of cool. But back then, he was also scary, heavy with the belt. It's just the era I grew up in.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It's a much different time now as we as parents navigate. But right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what I was raised in, and fear was my best friend. And I was very much wanted to be an extrovert, but very introverted. Do you know what I mean? Just afraid of everything. And then I found alcohol, and everything changed.
Gotcha.
With that, my first drink was what was it? I think I ran away. My dad got sober when I was like 12, and a few years later, I think I got grounded, as we all do, and I was rebellious from the start and we were borrowing the neighbor's car, I decided it'd be a good idea to steal the neighbor's car and run away.
Perfect.
So I went from Fort Lauderdale to West Palm Beach. I thought I was in northern Florida.
Right.
I'm only an hour away.
Right.
I get a job. I'm living in a car. I lasted like 6 weeks, and that's where I had my
Whoa.
first drink.
Wow.
That would only happen in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. I was living in like.
How old were you?
know,
16?
Yeah, 16.
You
turned
just
16.
stole your parents' car, ran away, got
Ran
a
away.
job.
Got
It
a
wasn't.
job.
It was
Yeah.
the neighbor's car, wasn't
It
it?
was the neighbor's
What was
car.
the neighbor's car?
My
I
God.
had to clean their parrots' cages for months when I got back.
Wow.
Had
That was
to
the
clean their
punishment. It was
parents' cages.
disgusting. But they were amazing people, the DeMarzos. I love them. So
Cool.
anyway, I'm in this car alone, which I'm used to, and I got a job at a restaurant, and I got a waiter to get me some beer, and that's where the magic of alcohol happened for me. And in that moment, all the fear dissipated, was gone. Didn't matter that I was, basically homeless in a car. I then proceeded to do another consistent thing, which was push past the happy place to where I was pissing on myself in the car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
That usually happens.
that story doesn't change much over the next 20 years with how it relates to alcohol and
Yeah.
substances.
You just kept
like,
pissing on yourself.
just kept pissing on myself.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning. Now, when I got home, when they found me, with Dad being sober, it was a little tricky, right? Because he saw a lot of himself in me. I was put in my first treatment center at 18. At that time, I'd only smoked weed and drank alcohol, but my behaviors were off the chain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And Dad loved his son, and he was right. He knew that's hard when you're that young and you're in treatment. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking to Sammy, was helping one of my clients and giving him an AA pitch, which was amazing. But it's really hard at that age to comprehend this thing. Do you know what I mean?
The
Especially-
language is so rough in the beginning.
beginning,
I think
yeah.
that the language either A is a big turnoff because a lot of people have religious trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So when they throw around the terminology of God, people throw a wall up right away. But I also think as alcoholics, we're very insecure that we're not going to be able to do this.
Yep.
That it's too much or too complex for someone as fucked up as us to comprehend. So we just kind of nod and don't really engage. We kind of yes man our way through AA, which
That's what I did.
yeah, I did it too.
That's
yeah.
what I did.
I
That's
did
a
it too,
great
and
way to
it took
put
me a while to realize that's because I was afraid. I either afraid I was going to lose this game, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I was going to fail AA
Yeah.
because I either wasn't smart enough or maybe I was too fucked up for it to work. You know what I mean? So I just nodded for sure. Third step prayer, you got
Done
it.
it.
But then you get to fourth and a little action's required, and that's when
yeah.
your true
It
colors
gets
show.
harder.
They kind of
You know
give
what I
you
mean?
the first three.
Yeah. On a
Yeah.
platter.
Four,
That's right.
you got to do a little work.
Dude, you can sit in the back of the class on the first three, but when it comes to four, like you're presenting at five. You can't
Yeah.
sugarcoat that, and it's blatantly obvious when you do.
And I think that what you're talking about was the part that was so hard to understand, because I thought the problem was drinking and drugs.
Right.
The steps and this God thing, that was a lot to take in. It was scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think early on I knew that I had the problem. My denial laid in the solution that kept being presented to me. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't understand what this has to do with it. I need a car. I need an apartment. I need a girl.
Right.
I
Yeah.
need those. If I can get those three, the delusion that, if everything on the outside was okay, Sean would feel good on the inside was like something I chased for a long time.
For a long time.
You know what I mean? So that was like my biggest barrier. But, along the way, I met so many good people. Like, I always loved Alcoholics Anonymous. I always felt safe in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
I always, even that first meeting, knew there's something magical here. Like, I knew it. Do you know what I mean? But there's action required. And that's where my rebellious nature was like, no, I don't think you guys really know what you're talking about in this regard. Like, I'll take it from here.
Yeah.
So, I basically was on this vicious cycle for the next 20 years. I'm not proud of that, but that's my story. I don't know how many treatment centers I've been to at this point or sober livings. I was also wicked weird in relationships with the females. You know what I mean? Like,
Of course,
super
dude.
Like I've learned through doing a lot of therapy and step work that it's like I had like I was a CIA agent in relationships. As soon as I get a feeling that I care about you, whether it's trauma, alcoholism, whatever it is, like I'm on a mission to find out how you're going to hurt me.
Yeah.
And it's going
You
to
had
happen.
to develop a construct where you were in control.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this is all happening subconsciously. I'm doing the best I can, but and I started popping out kids early. I had my first son, Tyler, at 20, and I kind of had this pattern. I was in 2 7-year relationships. Apparently, that's how long women can hang in there. That's the breaking point.
Nice.
According to my story.
Yeah.
And had 2 beautiful boys with Barbara. She hung in there for 7 years. Lots of insecurities, lots of emotional abuse. I even did, there was physical. I was like that. I think when I look back was like I was insane. You know what I mean? And copious.
You were
amount
like
of
in and
drugs
out, in and out, in and out.
I've crossed over to alcohol. I'm in South Florida, so cocaine becomes a big part of the
Of
story.
course, yeah.
What
Can't
year
have-
was that?
Right around 20.
Okay.
Right around age 20.
No, what year?
Well, I'm born in 72, so that's
92.
92 in South Florida. And oh, by the way, South Florida has great cocaine.
That's the
Just-
peak. Those also peak cocaine
I
years.
just
I'm
want to
sure.
say, like, that was, that it was great and not great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And as we do, we always know how to get the anyway. I basically have this, desire to be a good father and a good husband, but with alcohol and cocaine, I just can't seem to pull it together for more than 3 to 4 months, and I'm not good to be with, and I can't be present with my children, and I'm in and out of treatment, which led to my first arrest was. I came up with a plan to steal golf clubs because I was a good golfer. You know what I mean? So the deal was I was going around in Florida is like a mecca of golf courses.
Sure.
Correct.
So me and a girlfriend are like going around to courses. I have her steal the clubs. I'm on the putting green. It's a great scam, and it was working till it didn't work.
Exactly.
So then I'm in, and I got arrested in Miami. So I'm 5'6", little Irish guy, and I'm in Dade County, jail.
Yeah.
First time around, I think parents were pretty supportive in helping me get out, and I've always had angels and blessings, and we get out of so many scrapes.
Buddy,
Yeah.
that's
You know what I mean?
That I always say that keeps us from finding
I
gratitude.
know.
It really does. Like I can't tell you how many times they're like, "Oh, but he's sick," or "Oh, but he's trying hard," or "Oh, he's just a drunk." Like don't prosecute him as a criminal. I'll tell you, I don't really think I got sober until life on life's terms slapped me in the face, and I had to repent and like face the consequences of my actions. Like when life becomes real, that's where you find gratitude. You know what I mean?
It's basically when the consequences outweigh the fun.
Yep.
That's
That's
when
it.
you say, you know what, I got to stop this. And sometimes it takes a lot for that to happen. There's people that go to jail repeatedly
Yeah.
and they still don't see it.
Yeah.
But some see it early on. I happen to see it kind of early on, and that's the way it is. But the consequences completely outweighed the fun.
Absolutely, but I think it's important to my experience in AA is it works no matter what. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
it
whether
does.
you're 19, 24, when you reach that point, age is not a factor because it's a program of action. If you take the action, it works.
Exactly.
That's the flip
I
side
agree.
of that. So then, I get out of that scam or scrape, and a little bit later I cross over to crack, which is a whole different
course.
beast.
Really takes to the next level.
Takes it to the next level on all
Yeah.
levels, relationally, financial, jobs. Like I'm bouncing all over South Florida, and a good suburban boy like me was in a recovery house. Actually, I don't know if you know it. It used to just be a recovery house, like a sober house.
Okay.
Because dad's doing what he normal does. I call, like when I'm in trouble, I call mom and dad. You got to help, and they'll.
And how old are you at this
now
point?
I'm like 28.
Okay.
And they're like, all right, we'll help you. Here's your first month rent. Here's $100 for groceries.
Every time?
My
That's
dad was
wild.
in the field. When my dad got sober and stayed sober and got in the field like us.
Oh, really?
So you know how that works with connections, like, hey, scholarship, my
course.
son, hey.
Do X,
He
Y,
had-
and Z.
He had a lot of leverage. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know you were born into this.
yeah, I was born into this. He did really well in the courts. Like
Of course.
Yeah, like he got involved with Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County court systems, and he, at the end of his career, what he was really good at is he was just the liaison between the families and whoever's in trouble, and then he's placing them all over the place.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm in this recovery house, and I take that $100 and want to do the right thing, but crack is right around the corner. Go smoke a bunch of that, and I'm out of my mind. And it made sense to me to go into the recovery house and across the street. I was right on Federal Highway. There's like a really nice restaurant and an IHOP. So I create a makeshift gun, with like a can opener. This is all in complete psychosis, obviously.
Wow. Yeah. Of
Like
course.
I have a can opener with one of those. Remember those little red laser things that it would shoot the laser? And in my mind, like I just need money. None of this is going to make sense. But at the time, I'm thinking if I get money, I can get more crack. So I decide to go into the IHOP. I go in, say, give me all your money. The girl at the front thing just takes off. Like,
just runs away.
Just runs away. And I have to make a split-second decision. Like, what am I doing here? Like, how do I get into the register? Well, the customers are like starting to get up. So I'm like, I'm out. You know what I mean? So I run like 100 yards down Federal Highway, and I'm hiding under a car in a church parking lot. Well, man with gun in South Florida gets policed pretty quickly.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now there's, you can see the sirens, they're all around, and I'm just hiding. So I realized, like, hey, why are all these cars, at this church? It's bingo night. So now in my mind, in my delusional, psychotic mind, I'm thinking it's going to be a little old lady with a little can, and I'm going to go get that money. And if I get that money somehow, I'm going to helicopter out of here. I don't know what I'm thinking. Go in. It's a serious bingo operation. They have like the plexiglass, you know what I mean, with the little hole.
Wow.
So I go in, but once you commit to that, like I'm like, give me all your money. The girls just duck down. So and now the old guys and stuff are starting to get up. So I'm out of there. Long story short, that led to another arrest, a more serious arrest, which. Again, Angel stepped in. I did 6 months in county in some program, and then they
What, for armed robbery?
attempted armed robbery because I didn't get the money.
Attempted armed robbery.
And here's another Angel. Like I threw the makeshift gun. Right when they're talking to me, I'm like, it wasn't real, and they're like, you're gonna have to show us where it is.
I think that even if you had a rubber gun, they would still charge
They
you.
didn't.
They can't.
They gave me a. Well, I still got arms, so I don't know how it worked out, but apparently. Yeah. We found the whole taser gun, which is amazing in someone's neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I do my time, and they send me to another program. So that's not bad for those charges. Again,
not
Dad
bad at
stepped
all.
in and, you know what I mean, and did his thing. But they sent me to a place on the west coast of Florida that was co-ed.
Okay.
Like you're living in a house with females.
That's not right.
Yeah. So basically, my second kid's mother, Natalie, shows up. And she's a pretty little thing, and
I'm sure
I'd been in jail, so I'm, doing what we do in jail, which is just lift and survive.
You're looking great.
I'm looking great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. She's 10 years younger, and this. I share this just to share the depths of the insanity of my alcoholism and my addiction. Do you know what I mean? With considering that I've already been to treatment, I'm a smart guy. I pick up what you're laying down, but these are the behaviors. This is the insanity. It was. I hook up with her, we start doing what we do, and they meet with me because they know my dad. And they're like, look, Sean, here's the deal. Like, you're court ordered here. You know what I mean? We're going to give you a chance because you're father. Like, either A, we're going to move Natalie to another program, or you're going to have to leave. And my neurosis said, I love her. I can't, I'm so in love with her. Like, we're out of here. We're going to Bonnie and Clyde this thing. And sure as shit, we left and got an apartment because I had been working because I've always been able to make money, not like good money, but enough. So I get a job waiting tables, and we're living, and one day the cops come, to the door, but I wasn't home. So then we decide to, now she's pregnant because I do that too. That's a whole impulse, just didn't like condoms, just complete insanity.
I tell you what, I'm the same way. Been through several pregnancies, and as you know, I have many children. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
I know the outcome.
I know the outcome.
I know the outcome, but it's got to be like some alcoholic ego thing, you know what I mean?
It's
that like I just don't care.
I think it's also, for me, it was the insecurity. It was like as twisted as this sounds now to me. It's like, if the girl's going to allow me to do that, she must care about me.
Yeah.
How messed up is that? It's twisted.
It doesn't sound that messed up to me, but I'm the same as you. Like,
so
I get that.
She's pregnant. We take off to Pennsylvania. This is what gets me back here because her mom lives up here.
No kidding.
Greyhound bus. Cops are after me.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to prison.
You're on the run.
You're a fugitive.
I'm a fugitive, right? And the judge told me, if you screw this up, like, there's no and ifs or buts, you're going to prison. And in Florida, I knew
Big
enough
boy
about
prison.
big boy prison,
Real
like
deal.
places you don't want to go. For
Yeah.
me, anyway, I'm not
Sure.
that tough, and I'm the minority in that situation, right?
Correct.
So we stayed in Pennsylvania for about a year. I had another beautiful son that was Aiden. And basically, I'm still doing what I always do. I disappear on these, crack runs. I've crossed over to opiates because up there, the cocaine is nothing like South Florida.
Correct.
So I'm a mad scientist. Like, I just want to don't feel. So now I'm in the opiate world. And I disappear like I always do. And I'm gone one weekend. And Natalie knew, don't ever call the cops. Right?
Yeah.
So I disappear on a weekend, which is my part. She's scared out of her mind. And basically, I come back and she had called the cops, but I didn't know. And I get a phone call at like 9 o'clock at night. She's on the couch. My son's on the couch. And this guy calls. Is Natalie there? I'm like, insecure. I'm like, who's this fucking guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Call my girl.
Right.
That's where my mind. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And they're like, is Sean there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm right fucking here. Like, he hangs up the phone. So I look at my wife and I'm like, did you call the cops? And she's like, I'm sorry. So now 2 seconds later, it's pop, pop, pop. So now I go
Oh,
into
2 seconds later, the knock at the door.
yes.
Oh, yeah, they just wanted to know if you were home. That's
Yes,
all.
Oh,
that's
wow.
it. That's it.
Right.
So I run to the back. I'm like on the second story, and now I think I'm Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm going to prison.
You're going to scale down the
I'm
wall.
going to scale.
and-
I
oh, yeah.
did. I did. So
Oh, buddy,
I
I've
go-
done. Yeah, I've
That's
jumped out of
funny.
some windows before.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
So I go out the window, jump 10 feet down, and get up, and there's two cops just smiling.
Yeah.
Right there,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Just like
They're just-
they're talking to each
They
other.
were waiting for you
They were
there.
waiting for you.
Yeah,
Dude. They were
yeah.
just laughing.
What
So,
town were you in when you got caught?
Greensburg, PA.
Okay.
So then you have to get extradited. That was all fun. You're in what a humbling experience. You're in like shackles, and it takes you like 2 weeks to get from PA because you got to stop and pick
right.
people up. And
You taking
anyway,
a bus.
long story short, I go to prison, right? And I'll never forget. I was talking about this day, like just being in the courtroom and looking at my dad and his, how powerless he felt, like knowing that his son is about to go to prison. And I got a year and a day, which, is considered, again, I'm blessed. I could
Yeah.
got a lot more. All I'll say about that, worst 9 months of my life.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
my
like
God.
I got stitches a few times.
Yeah.
I didn't get raped and I didn't die.
Did you get
any of
stabbed?
No, I got fights.
Yeah.
Like it's all metal in the room, so like if you get in a
Yeah,
fight,
if you hit
Yeah.
something, you're
you're
going to the
you're
infirmary.
going to the infirmary.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything about it.
Right.
Type of deal.
I tripped.
So
Yeah.
that's like my experience is it breaks my heart at this point in my journey to know that people like us, there was no meetings in there. There was more support in county. There's like
Really?
there's survival. There's nothing down there but surviving.
yeah. You're talking state
I'm
at that
talking
point.
state, and
Yeah.
I never
County,
left-
you're getting out soon, so they
Right.
want to give you the services. State, half those people ain't coming out.
They're
ever.
never coming out,
right,
dude.
and especially
Yeah.
I never left the reception center, so I never got shipped to a camp, which is worse because everyone like I had roommates with triple life sentences.
Wow.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Like they're in a whole different world. So my belief is God took care of me. I leave there and run right back to the girl because that's when there's no solution in prison. So I just survived.
Yeah.
I think I was drinking on the plane ride home. You know what I
Really?
mean? You would think
Right away.
yeah, you would think like, okay, like, no, not me. So I go back.
Wasn't
up.
your time yet. Yeah.
Wasn't
Well,
my
you
time
didn't
yet.
get any treatment there either.
I didn't. In
so
fairness, that's
your
what I'm
brain
saying.
thinks you were still the day before prison.
100%.
Yeah.
There was no connection to God. There was no Alcoholics Anonymous. There really wasn't. It
Right.
wasn't even an option, which is sad. So I go back up north and I'll speed up and get sober and have another kid because that's what I do
With her.
with her. I couldn't really. She at this point is one of us as well, and now she's on methadone.
Oh, she's
She's opiates, but have you ever been with someone who's like more stable than you?
yeah,
But
it's just
still
like
one of
less
us?
of a train wreck, but
Less
still
of a train
sick.
wreck. Yeah, like
Yeah, well, it's
she's-
bad for them because
It's bad.
they have you as a
Exactly.
control to be like, I'm not that bad, so I'm
As a
good.
control.
Yeah, you're. It's really bad for them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really.
she slid under my rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
dude.
mean,
God bless anybody.
So my kids have definitely been devastated by that.
Yeah.
So anyway, have another kid, and at the 7-year mark, lose that relationship, And this brings me up to when I get sober. I was in Butler, PA.
Okay.
She had kicked me out. She's already dating someone else, which is always fun for a guy like me. I just can't. All the
crushes
fuel
your
I need
spirit.
to. And I'm at this stage of my drinking, like you were talking about. I'm getting very little relief,
Right.
and all kinds of consequences. So when we say it's not working the way I wanted it to. Put it that way. But I would still get. I can't say that, but I'm trying to control it, and then I have an apartment, and I'm drinking a lot of alcohol at this point for some reason. Maybe because it's cheaper. But I'm like you. I blacked out all the time.
I find that alcohol in the end
Was
is the fastest way to drown out.
Yes.
It drowns out what your life has become.
Everything.
Of
Like
course.
I've been through it all.
You don't
like
even
I've been through it
remember
all.
it.
You don't
That's
even
the-
remember it.
Every time I drank, like my final year of drinking, I blacked out. Literally every single time. So you don't even remember it. You start it, and it's like you wake up the next day. It's like you got a scrape on your face or whatever, and I don't even remember it.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I
didn't know which drunk was going to come out. Like I'd be happy sometimes, I'd be crying sometimes, or the tendency was blackout. So I tried to I'm only going to buy liquor and bring it to the apartment.
Yeah.
Like I've already have charge. I can't. I'm through it all, but I don't want to go back to that place. That's my biggest fear.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So I still did get in trouble because apparently in a blackout I punched a hole through the window. Then I called the cops because I didn't want to pay for the window.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
And they're like, Mr. Fetters. Meantime, there's weed all over, and he's like, Mr. Fetters, the glass is on the inside, And I'm like, So I end up in this place in Butler.
Didn't think about that one.
Didn't think about that. I was I don't barely remember anything.
Yeah.
So the last thing I remember was going to Butler for one. What kind of you guys would know this They're a sober house. They're all over the place. Oxford.
Oxford
the
House.
Oxford place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in an Oxford face in Butler. And by the way, Butler, PA is a weird town. I'm just
I
telling
don't. Where is that?
it's outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And
You're
it's
west.
It's just west.
It's
That's
way
west.
Yeah, it's way
Yeah.
west. It's out by some good football out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in an Oxford house going to AA, but I think I just remember I fell into that bucket of at this point I don't think that works either. Have I ever worked the 12 steps? No.
No. Yeah, but you've showed up enough
But I've
times
showed up
to,
and you know what I mean?
to denounce it.
To denounce it. Not
Yeah.
like I'm verbal. I mean internally. I still knew it was safe and I still went because it's the magic of God's there.
Yeah.
But internally it was more like I'm different. I
Yeah.
can't. I've tried
I'm not
this.
fixable.
I'm not fixable, bro.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I'm so anyway, I'm there for 2 weeks, and I went into a 3-day bender that I've never. This is how I got sober. That to this day I don't remember any of. I don't know if you had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up naked, which is not my thing, in a park at 3 a.m.
Were you smoking PCP?
I'll tell you, I don't know. I don't remember anything.
Anytime I got naked, I was smoking PCP.
Nope, I never did
Yeah.
that actually.
No,
I wanted to, obviously. It just never crossed my
it's a little
path.
late now. So
So I
Yeah.
ended up in a coma. That's what happened.
really,
About that.
Yeah.
What year
from
was that?
what? What was
That
the cause?
Right when I got sober. 2011.
What was the cause? How'd you get into a coma? Blunt force trauma to the head?
No, from all the substances in my system.
No
Your
kidding.
system
but when I-
start shutting down.
Yeah, my system.
Yeah.
There was Suboxone, benzos. Oh, this isn't a 3-day alcohol, cocaine. There was everything in my system. But I don't know whether it's the coma. I don't remember anything. All I remember is I'm in a coma for 4 days. My poor mom. I'm at that stage with my family that they have to love me from afar.
Absolutely.
They have to. There's
Yeah.
they can. I burn them. We always burn. You know what I mean?
It's second nature to burn them at
It's-
that point.
it's just
they
easier.
almost expect it.
Family's the easiest to burn, though.
Yeah,
when
it's less-
when you
less-
think back about it, they're the people that'll forgive you first.
Right, and
you
won't
burn
send
somebody
you-
else, they may beat your head in.
or send you to jail.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, my poor mom, who remember at this stage, my mom's been through my dad's crap. Do you know what I mean? And now she's dealing with her son, and then we'll get to my younger brother, who also.
Yeah.
So, she came to the hospital, and they're telling her, we don't know if he's going to make it. We'll give it a few days. And I just think of what that must have been like for her.
course.
You know what I mean? And then my older brother came too. Now, when I came to, which is a miracle in and of itself, I was a mess because of being in the coma. Like, you have to learn, like, I'm in the hospital. I can see my mom. I can see my brother. I can see food, but I don't have like, you lose all, like, I can't tell my hand to get the food. It won't, nothing's working.
You have to relearn.
Yeah.
You have to relearn. So I ended up in the ICU for 3 weeks. I used to write, when I got sober, I used to send them like thank you letters because they treated me like, you have a nurse in your room 24/7. If you have to shit, like, you right in front of them.
Yeah, they wipe your ass for you.
Yeah, they do. You know what I mean?
And smile about it.
You're on 24/7, and they treated me like, not like I felt about myself.
I love nurses, dude.
Dude,
they
were
are
so
the
good
best.
to me.
They're the best, man.
So it took me 3 weeks in ICU to learn to eat, to learn to walk. And at this stage, which I think at this point is a godsend as it relates to AA, like, I'm not all there. Like, I can talk to you, but like and I know it. Like, I'm aware that, like, my brain is, shot.
All wit is gone.
All wit, all memory. So they shipped me from there to Downwood.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's a big facility. Thank God for it, because I got nothing. No one's paying for, treatment. So go there. They shipped me from there to York, Pennsylvania. I did PHP actually in Allenwood, and then came to, where's the Little League World Series,
I have no idea.
No, it's Williamsport.
Williamsport. Yeah, I was there. And I think slowly I was starting to get better, but I still was just afraid of everything, and I was afraid of dying, and I was afraid of, is my brain going to be like this forever? And honestly, I didn't have the energy to do what we do.
Right.
As it like, I was so exhausted. I couldn't, you know what I mean? It takes, at that point in my drinking, like, it takes a lot to do what we do.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have it.
In you
know what
anymore.
I didn't have anything, and I'm $60,000 in debt with child support, because that's what kind of, because I'm
of course.
You know what I mean? I'm as hopeless as, I got no hope. And in sober house, I went to a meeting, gentlemen shared, and there was just enough glimmer of hope. That's all it was. Like,
something clicked.
Like, something clicked right in that moment that maybe, like, this guy sounds like me. And I asked, then there was a line to get to him. So I'm selfish. So he kept.
There was a line after the meeting to talk to the guy that spoke.
But he kept talking about his sponsor, and I could see who his sponsor was. So I went to his sponsor, Mark LaChapelle, and asked him to sponsor me, and that's kind of where truly I think my journey began. Stuff like just
life started at that moment.
Life started at that moment.
Yeah, dude.
To the best of my ability. It sounds insane, but like, it was just little things that. I come from a place where, I was so beat up. He told me everything, and I was calling him 3 times a day.
Just
like,
asking if it was okay to put my right foot in front of my left.
Afraid,
yeah,
dude.
I know.
I had fucked it up so much.
Dude, I felt the same way.
Because, like, when I was with him, I would feel safe. Like, when we would do step work, I would feel okay. That's all I had to draw on. That was my connection to God at the time. I couldn't. The God thing was too far away.
Well, you could tell him anything, and he wouldn't judge you.
No.
Yeah.
No. So I
fearlessly
started working steps.
But that's like you fearlessly becoming honest for the first time.
Correct.
You're just putting it all out there, hoping you're going to say something. This guy's going to be like, "Oh, you're too fucked up to say it," and they never say it. They never say it, dude. It never comes. You just keep firing off, and then you're like, maybe I'm not so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do find that there is this defining moment, and this is my conception of a power greater than myself now, where I was just willing to listen. I showed up and AA looked differently. I had been there on and off my entire life up until this moment where I walked in, and it was, you look at the steps, they look way different. They look way different because now it's like
when you're ready to do them.
When it's ready, when it's time, right? When like all fear, like when you're too scared to fucking move again, and you look up at the wall, you look at the traditions, and you look at the steps, and you're like, holy fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What a mountain I have to climb.
And I thought, I thought I was getting clocked. Like I was like, I better get this fucking done in 3 weeks, or I'm gonna die, or like I'm never gonna see my wife again, or like they're gonna take my baby away from me. Like all this stuff. Like I was like, I better do this to the best of my ability. Yeah. It was like the one time I actually took a school project seriously. You know what I mean? For the first time, the last time I could remember ever doing something like that. Like it was like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really believe that failure of that was death. You know, like that was it.
There was nothing else.
But what decides that? because you'd been there before.
I don't.
What
That's
You'd
decides
been
that
at
is
the
you're
end.
ready. Like
Right.
there's certain things that lead up to a point in your life, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that say, okay, I'm really, really ready. Like that's it. Like I surrender. I give
Right.
up. Whereas before that, you weren't really ready. You weren't ready to surrender. Certainly weren't ready to give up. So those steps look like screw them.
Of
You can't do
course.
that shit. But when you get to that point, my point happened to be a long time ago. You like, okay, now
Time to listen.
that's it. Now
Yeah.
that's it.
So that's my conception of God, is that I have been to the end of that rope multiple times where this was it. It was make or break. I was going to die. I was going to fucking, all these things were going to happen, but I'd still just keep doing it my way. And then one day,
it was different.
divine,
Yep.
one day it was different, right? Because you had probably lived more of an alcoholic life 10 years before you hit the end of your rope, bro. You had been in a coma. You had been in state prison. You had been in jails. You had had multiple baby moms. You know what I mean? There are multiple moments across your story where you should have hit the end of your rope, or you probably should have died. You know what I
Correct.
mean? But for some reason, I don't know if there was a personality involved. Something came down, went inside of your fucking head or your heart, and flicked a switch because it was different. The words looked different. The speakers sounded different. What decides that?
See, with me, it's called a precipitating factor.
Right.
And I always want to know what's your precipitating factor, and that means what happened just before you surrendered and got sober. I got my last rites one night in November of '84.
Yeah.
I drank and did drugs for 19 more months. Everybody would have, a clear thinking human being would say, oh, that's probably when you stopped, right?
Yeah.
Because, they're sane. No, not
Right.
us.
Not even
We
close.
bashed through that. So
Yeah.
it was another 19 months before I finally looked up to heaven and asked for help.
Yeah.
What was the precipitating factor? My sobriety date is August 15th, 1986, excuse me. I was in court on August 14th, 1986. And then I went to treatment literally the next day. So the precipitating factor was I can't go to jail. I'm like you. I'm 5'7" and a quarter. Never been taller than that. At the time I weighed, I don't know, 170, whatever, I wasn't built for jail. You know what I mean? So that was it for me, man. That was it.
To me, it's just, again, precipitating factor. It's my conception of God.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
conception
there
of
you
God.
go.
That's my conception of God. That I was completely defiant, self-centered, and in my own way up until a certain point. And I'm blessed. It's such a blessing because how many
Yeah.
people don't get that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's just you telling me that I was getting goosebumps, just feeling the gratitude and thinking about, especially with the fentanyl right now, because that's a question I ask. I'm like, why me versus, especially in our world when we meet these people that we know are amazing, because that could happen to me. Any of us, you know what I mean? So thank you for that. Definitely a huge dose of gratitude.
That's the conception of God, dude. I mean, I think about how many of my friends are dead.
Yep.
If I wrote a book, it would be called All My Friends Are Dead. You know what I mean? Like, literally, it would be. I've lost so many over the years. I lost a guy in the midst of COVID in 2021, a company I was working for. Everyone was work from home, and a kid that I loved and adored had 3 years of continuous sobriety, decided to go home to North Jersey one day. I found him dead in his room. His roommates didn't even know he was there. You know what I mean? He used once.
One time.
You know what I mean? Meanwhile, I have another friend who I've seen in and out, build entire lives for himself, get a couple years sobriety, and then torch it to the ground. I mean, overdose, lost everything. But he still manages to claw back out periodically. And I look at him and I'm always like, there's a reason that you're here, bro.
Yeah.
There's a reason that you haven't fucking found the bottom of a casket yet.
Right.
So you better fucking do something about it. You know?
Absolutely.
Like, that's my conception. That is it, dude. You know
I
what I
like
mean?
that, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt your story.
No. So at this point, for the first time, like you were talking about, for whatever the reason, God, I was willing, and my sponsor was really good at, I'm going to a meeting every single night. I get a baseline job. I'm carrying a weed eater. And
best.
just, just because, I still have the ego of like, oh, this is making me buff. I'm like
Yeah.
38 years old.
Right.
And I'm
Dude.
still worried about that. Like, not my kids. And,
Right.
Anyway, he takes me through those 12 steps. For some reason, I'm willing to honestly and thoroughly do those 12 steps. And he was the normal. I was very intimidated by Mark. You know what I mean? He had the pretty wife, the good job, and he just carried himself in a certain way. But for some reason, when it came to 4, like I didn't hold back.
Good for you. That's a tough one, man.
That's a tough one. Yeah,
That's the make or break. Yeah.
That's like you were talking about. Like that's
the
huge.
one.
And I think that's when I started noticing, because it's one thing we always try to make suggestions to what experiencing what we're suggesting is different. You have to take a leap of faith. You're just hurting.
Yep.
You're just dying inside.
Yeah, you're looking for relief.
You're
so you
looking
gotta
for
take
relief.
that.
Yeah,
You got to take the leap.
But once you start experiencing the results, which I think right after 4 and 5 is when like I started, like one thing that happened, I had never gone 1 month without seriously thinking about drinking or drugging. Like ever. So I didn't know what that was like. And when it happened, I was like, oh my God, something's going on here.
Yeah.
The position of neutrality that it talks about in the book, which I heard 1,000 times, but I'd never experienced it.
Didn't know what it
just
meant.
sounded good.
Yeah, you didn't know what it meant
Yeah, I
either.
didn't know what it meant.
Right.
But when you do, you're like, oh my God, maybe there is hope. You know what I mean? So then,
Absolutely.
Then I started chasing AA and helping guys like I chased the alcohol and drugs. Do you know what I mean? And then life started getting better. I was single for a year. I'd never been single.
Ever.
in my
Yeah.
life. Always had to have the validation.
You had to fill the slot.
Had to fill a slot.
Yeah.
I need some sort of to counter that low self-esteem. Doesn't matter. I don't have to love you even.
Yep.
Or sometimes I do. It's worse for you if I do.
Yeah.
Because the CIA guy comes
Way
out.
Oh, yeah.
worse,
Do you know what I mean?
dude.
You're better off
Looking
not-
for the bottom.
Yeah, you're boxed into the slot.
You're right.
Yeah.
The slot's not good for you.
That's hilarious.
And then I think I was a year sober, and I'm paying child support to the best of my ability.
Just doing what you can.
Just doing what I can. But
Yeah.
you're at this point now, that whole mentality has shifted to what Sammy, like trying to do the next right thing.
Sure.
And buying into it. You know what I mean? Which
That's key.
that's key.
You have to buy into
You
it.
have to buy into, because the selfishness and self-centeredness has been my world for 20 straight years.
Yep.
And then God starts moving. You know what I mean? I start seeing my kids again. There was this guy that was I'm still friends with here, and he was like 22, and he's going through the steps with me, same sponsor. And when their mom said, hey, you can see the kids, I don't have a car. I'm in York.
Yeah.
He says, I'll take you out there. And I was like, you're going to take me to pick?
Oh, they were still
They were still in
outside Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So he every other
Wow.
weekend, he's taking me out, bringing me back. I get to reconnect and build
That's
that
awesome.
foundation. At like 15 months sober, now that I have a good relationship with 2 of my kids, I get a call from their mom. I just got my first car, and mom's like, you got to come. She's drunk, hammered. You got to come pick up these kids. I can't do it anymore.
Oh, wow.
I still don't know what to do. I call sponsor guy. I said, it's Monday. I got to be at work tomorrow. What do I do? He's like, go get your kids. You know what I mean? My kids had never left.
They never been with just you before.
They've
Certainly
never
not,
been with
certainly
you.
not this guy.
Second year sober, being a single dad was
It's tough.
That was hard, brother. But you know who saved me? The men in Alcoholics Anonymous. Do you know what I mean? Like
Showed right up, dude.
bro. Oh my God. Like even the women, like in regards to helping me watch the kids, because now I have to work. I know enough about putting them in structure. They need to be in sports. Dude, that was one of my best years sober and one of my hardest years sober because of the bond I formed
Sure.
with those boys.
I feel like
Or my
God has
daughter.
this unbelievable ability about throwing a lot on your shoulders, but like at the right time where you
the
need
right
it the
time.
most.
Yep.
They're like, all right, Sean, you showed me that you were serious about this. Let me challenge you as you've challenged the world up until this point. Let me let you fucking repent as a father and really fucking, because you're a totally different person at that point.
Yep.
Than you were 5 years before.
Totally
You're looking at your kid, you're like, I didn't brush your hair well at all. You know what I
Yep.
mean? When before you didn't even notice they
Didn't
had a
even
shirt
notice.
on.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like it's
dude.
totally different. The things you value are so different, and you think the world is judging you when in reality, like no one's paying attention. But it's so funny. I remember going through something similar around 2 years sober where like I had to be a man like really, really fast. And I thought I still had my training wheels on. And they were like, guess what, dude? We're pushing you down the hill. You better show up or grow up. You know what I mean? Like it was just one of those instances where it's a challenge to see what you're made of, and it really puts some hair on your chest.
And
you know?
it's a learning experience.
Definitely,
You
of course.
need that to be where you are now. If you didn't have that, you may not be here right now.
100%.
So that God put that challenge in front of you, you accepted it and crushed it.
100%.
And now both of you are here because of those challenges that you had to overcome. I had them too.
Yeah.
And we're all here because we accepted those challenges, we kicked them in the ass, and we learned from it, and here we are. You know what I mean? So many years later.
And at some point, I think, you know, when it comes to parenting, like in my experience, the whole principles we're learning, and the main thing is like stop being so selfish. Well, when you're a parent, you know, and I didn't know this at the time, you're constantly thinking about your kids.
Oh, it's all you
So
think
you know what I mean? That's all.
Sure.
So I think it was
Still.
still it was a blessing. I didn't know this. I just thought this is hard. But I think God knew exactly what I needed. And then like a year later, I got a suggestion. I'm not making money yet in sobriety, and that's getting on my. You know, now that I have the kids, I'm feeling that low. So like. We lived in an apartment. My son had Nikes, and we put him outside because I'm OCD. I didn't want shoes, and then someone stole his Nikes, and I can't fucking. I'm 2 years sober, and I can't pay for his Nikes. That type of deal.
Yeah. That'll make you cry.
That I did. I remember it. I'm not a crier because of trauma. That's a whole other story. I'm a suppressor.
But it's your kid at that point, not you. You're not crying over you.
No, I just broke down, and I called my sponsor guy, and he made a suggestion that I take a job in treatment. And I'm like, you know, ego. I'm like, what are they going to pay me? You know what I mean? But I'm a convicted felon.
Doing what? Yeah.
RA was just opening, and he said, just go help people. And I did. So that's how I got my foot in the door.
So you worked for a center.
I worked as a RA, and I just worked my way
tech,
up. And
yeah.
This all the business knowledge that I had from the past, all started to come to fruition through a suggestion from my sponsor.
From your friend.
Yeah. And then I met my wife was a nurse there.
Nice.
We love nurses.
Well, I love nurses.
I love nurses.
Yeah.
You know, they're great caretakers.
Correct.
Yep.
And
we love
she's
nurses.
beautiful. So I mean, and she was in the program.
Yeah.
How about that?
The best of both. Probably, no offense, but like, I also feel like nurses and women in the program are also the craziest of them as well.
Of course.
Correct.
Of course. God has his hand on that. When I met my wife, I think we were like, when we look back, we've been married for 10 years. That was like we were insane. You know what I mean? That first year, just because I was like 3.5 years sober. She was like 2 years sober. And this is our first big boy, big girl relationship, you know? And when you do that, there's a lot, but we both worked programs.
Good.
You know what I mean? So when the pain got great enough, like we found a solution. And then we had 2 children, because you guys know that's what I do.
Yeah.
Right.
You're a breeder.
I'm an Irish Catholic.
I'm Irish
dude.
Catholic.
He's
bro.
a breeder,
That's
dude.
strong.
Yeah. He breeds.
Sound like bull. And then we were given 2, and Lindsay, God bless her, like she came in and parented my, Aiden and Kieran. I mean, I try to imagine what that's like.
And they were what, 20 at the time?
No,
or whatever?
No. Right now at this stage, when she meets, they're 7 and 5.
They're
Aiden's,
real young.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're young, and she stepped in and and just because Natalie never got better. God bless her. Do you know what I mean? Like
she did. Or
no,
didn't?
no.
Oh, she didn't.
She hasn't talked to my kids in. She's one of us, is the best, and been on methadone for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm not judging methadone. All I know is her brain is just mush, and it's a sad story.
Yeah.
So, she comes in, then my career starts taking off because now I have support. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Then I took a job in BD. That's how that happened. Because you
course.
can't do what we do being a single dad. Like,
That's
not
hard.
that one part. You can't.
Yeah, you're all over the road.
I'm all over the road. I'm going to swim practice. I'm going to soccer practice.
Right.
You just can't. And then I guess without my knowledge, God orchestrated all this. And as soon as I got that opportunity, bro,
I took it.
I was a madman, dude.
You know what's funny, man? I never owned a car up until I got this job.
I believe it.
I did.
Wow.
I wasn't even allowed to be a licensed driver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I get this job. I begged someone to give me this job. I was like, just give me for a year. You know what I mean? Give me a shot. And they were like, all right, whatever. And then they were like, here's your, you know what I mean? We're going to give you a car stipend, blah, blah, blah. I was like, a car stipend? They were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I need to get a car.
Right.
Dude, I never
you
really
can make the
like. I grew
payments.
up living in the city, dude. Like, I took the train and bus everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't conceptually, that wasn't something that I needed. I remember going home, looking at my wife, being like, "I have to go buy a car now," and she was like, "We have a car." Like, that was her car, and I was just like, "No, I need my own." You know what I mean? And they were like, I didn't know anything I was doing. You know that, but it was such an opportunity. I remember going to meetings at, like, going to hospitals, but then having to pick Sophia up from school at 12 and then coming home and then making 45,000 fucking phone calls, and then Samantha coming home from work and then going out again. Like, in the beginning, it was really hard. And I felt like I was an imposter in that role. I felt like an imposter.
You got to develop a system.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was talking about. You know what I mean? I had never had a career. I had never held down a job like that before.
Yeah, but you faked it until you really made it
yeah.
big time. You know,
100%.
until you really made it well. You know.
But I think a piece of that comes from what we learn in AA. I know it did for me. Like that, the principle my sponsor taught me early, even with the weed eater, was like, be of maximum service to your employer. Like, that's your gig.
That's it.
Like,
dude.
that's what you need to do, Sean. And I bought it. You know what I mean? It didn't matter where I'm carrying a weed eater, whether I'm working as an RA, whether I'm in, like, you know what I mean? And work ethic, as it relates to career, is like half the deal, especially today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I had it. My dad taught it to me way back then. I've watched what he did. And, you add that to, a profound knowledge and experience with alcoholism, you'll do really well in this field.
Dude, 100%. So you'd be very shocked how many people don't have that.
I'm not shocked.
You're not. I know you're not shocked, but not a lot of work ethic on the streets these days.
So,
well, I mean, I don't even encourage people to get into this line of work.
I would agree.
Until they have at least a minimum of like 2 years sobriety, because the pressure of making numbers in business development, whatever, you won't be able to survive it.
It's
and
not
you don't have the
sustainable.
skills yet.
No, Hunter, I could not agree with that more.
At least 2 years.
And even if you have it, like I was 3 years when I got my, later some guys found out about me and they said, hey, come to Georgia. We're going to build a 120 bed. We're going to give you equity. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, and
you're
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm making,
you're doing well. You're making good money.
Right. So
Yeah. More money than you ever thought you would make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As a convicted felon, like, come on.
Way more.
I've paid all my child support. I'm active. But you have to ask the wife. Hey, wifey, pretty wifey.
Exactly.
She's like, no.
Let's go to Georgia.
We're not going to Georgia.
Okay.
So then Jeff flew her down. He was smart.
Yeah.
He won her over.
Yeah.
He won her over.
Yeah, he won her over.
So anyway, to your point, we went to Georgia, and this was my first equity deal, and I had done a fair job of balancing the demands of a career, a husband, and AA. Like, I never sponsorship. I'm still sponsoring guys. When I went to Georgia, I fell victim to, again, that delusion that, like, this is my chance. Like, a year in to that project, like, on the outside, Sean's crushing it. You know? On paper, I live in.
Look good, right?
Yeah. I live in a McMansion. My dad used to call those a huge house, like ridiculous. Like, I don't even, the wife's good. The kids have all the, I'm driving a nice car, but inside, because I've drifted. I tried 2 sponsors. I'm not going to meetings. And I remember, the closest I've gotten to drinking in the past 14 years was that night. I'm driving home from the facility and I pull in to a Mexican restaurant. There's no reference point. That was just where I was like, there's liquor there.
There's tequila there.
There's tequila there, right? Exactly. And I pull in, and I don't know what stopped me from walking in that bar, but like I said, I'm not a crier, but I just broke down sitting in the car, and I called Chad, someone that knew me my whole sobriety up here in PA, and I said, dude, I need help, bro. I'm dying. He took me through the steps again. I was flying up, like meeting with him. And
that's cool.
He's still my sponsor to this day. So I'm a big, I think, not that this is when you're in this industry, man, you got to take care of yourself.
You got to stay
close. Oh, yeah.
But again, like God, because of that experience, like since then, even when things get busy, I'm pretty good. You know what I mean? I don't drift too far because I don't want to drive into another bar.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
you won't survive.
I won't survive.
You won't make it back. No shot.
No.
UCP.
Anyway, we've had 2 beautiful autistic boys, which is, Caleb and Asher. They're amazing. All kids, as you know, are like, you feel so close to God.
The gift.
Yeah.
But it's very challenging. And this disease is very much like, a disease of perception. And I can either, why. And sometimes I do. Like, what? It's not, the why is not about what me and my what. It's about them. Like, the why is like, when I see them experience that the world doesn't understand their disorder, that's when I'm like, come on.
Crushes you.
Yeah, I try to make deals with God. I'm like, God, like make something happen to me. You know what I mean? But remove the pain. Like, he's 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
But then the other flip side of it is maybe with all that selfishness, with all that pain that I caused, all that insanity, the damage I did to those kids, like maybe God knew that these amazing, beautiful kids that have challenges, like you and Lindsay are the perfect parents.
Yeah,
You'll
they
be
need
able.
you.
They
Yeah.
need you.
Sean, this is your next task.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where I need you to focus.
Because this
Correct.
test won't end.
This test
The
won't
other
end.
test
Yeah. Sean, this is your
And
biggest this is
this
your
is-
biggest
this-
test yet.
This is a lifelong test.
It's a lifelong
And
test. but
you're crushing it.
yeah, but it's a cool journey. Like, as you guys know, and I'm sure both. If you would have asked me 14 years ago, like, I'll give it to you. Just stay. I would have said, please, not let me drink. Like, not let me want to drink and drink.
Right.
Like,
Correct.
Just find a way that this fucking brain is not gonna want it.
Right.
And like maybe a relationship, and maybe like an apartment.
Yeah.
Car.
Yeah.
You'd have been totally happy with
And,
that.
like,
Yeah.
I'm-
AAA card.
AAA
Right.
card.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm fine. And what
Yeah.
I have, I mean, it's even with our egos, I can't take credit for. Do you know
Of
what I mean?
course.
Like, there's no way I can be like, whether it's my career, my marriage, my kids, it's impossible to, like, you know
That's
what I mean?
when you will
That's
end
what's-
yourself.
Right.
If you start reading your own headlines, taking credit for all those good things, that'll end you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
So it's
supposed to
cool
be
journey.
here today, brother.
No.
But my God, you're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
You are someone I admire, and you definitely show up and continue to do this deal. And it's I can't agree with you more. It's so easy to grow away from.
So
But
easy.
you know what? You're supposed to. I've learned. I mean, you're not necessarily supposed to, but like, it's a good reminder that you're still sick. You don't go through those 12-step once and then all of a sudden you're cured. You can just take and not give back, because you'll grow resentful. You'll grow self-centered.
Yep.
You'll do dumb shit. And if you're lucky, you won't drink.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Right.
If you're
Yep.
fucking lucky. I'm lucky enough that I haven't drank. I grow away from this thing like every 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? I start to take credit.
It happens.
I start to do self-centered shit. And then I can see it in my relationships.
Yes.
There's a mirror, and I'm looking at myself based on the way that the people that I care about most treat me.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice way that whenever I do fuck up and I'm like, oh my God, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I have like some character disorder. Dude, I call another alcoholic. They're like, no, dude, you're just an alcoholic, dude. That's all. And it's like so relieving to hear that. It's so relieving to hear that. And then I go back and I do the deal and I'm like, oh my God, why did I ever think that it was okay that I could stop doing this? You know?
Yeah, I say it all the time that, we talk about growing away from the program. The program to me is like, you go to AA meetings, sponsor, work steps, give back, be in service. You're in the program. You know what I mean? When you grow away from that, like when you're in the program, it's like you're getting these vitamins for your brain.
Yeah.
When you grow away from the program, vitamins wear off. And then all of a sudden you're left to your own devices. You know what I mean? So that's when you screw up. You know what I mean? You get back to the program, you start feeding those, vitamins back into your head, those program kind of vitamins back into your head. That's when you can, you get a hold of yourself again. It's not like you continue to grow away. If you continue to grow away, you remember less and less and less and less and less of the program. Now you're out 2 years from going to the pro. Now it's like, did I even really have a problem?
Yeah.
You start asking stupid questions like that. You get back to the program, you're not even thinking about that.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Just my opinion on that.
I think it's cool that we, I think for me, the whole program is about seeking God through action. Right?
Yeah.
I do think it's cool that on our journey, there's so many options for how, like, even yoga, which I'm now doing. It sounds insane, but I still perceive that as that's a way that I'm acknowledging that, God, I need you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Even the gym. Like I go to the gym. I'm a big gym guy. Is there a little ego? Sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm still here, guys. You know what I mean? But do I get relief? 100% I do. Do you know what I mean? As it relates to the stress.
Yeah,
of
you're
being a
working
parent.
it off.
I have 4 kids. I have, you know what I mean? I try to go to the gym to reset so I can be the best version of me.
Sure.
You know, because naturally my default setting is a psychotic husband, CIA agent,
Right.
Correct.
and a non-present father.
Yeah.
That's without power. That's what I'll.
That's
revert
who you
to.
become.
So yeah,
Absolutely. What a great story.
Dude.
thank you.
What a
buddy.
great story.
You were
We-
having you on was fantastic.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, and I think our listeners are gonna enjoy your story too.
It was a privilege. I appreciate you both allowing me to be of service.
Dude, you're like a beacon. You know, you're the 1%. You're not supposed to be here today,
I'm
Sean
not
Fetters.
supposed to be here today.
Okay.
Not.
You got to
not
act
at
like
all.
that lighthouse.
Well,
Direct
and that-
people in. You know
But
what I
how
mean?
cool is that with, like, I think in my career, like, even though there's all the money and all that fun stuff, which, hey, I don't, whatever. But I think one thing that has carried me is my authenticity for helping people, because of everything that God has given me. I always, for the most part, on a daily basis, feel like I need to go above and beyond for these patients. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's what I perceive God wants me to do. And who would have thought that it would actually make me successful?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have those lofty back then. I was just trying to
Sure.
make my base and like help people. Like that's all I do. But people know when you're full of you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
And I authentically have opportunities to help people, but my kids, my wife, our clients. So it's kind of a cool deal. But I think I owe that in a way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like I think that's the least I could do.
Something
Do you know what I mean?
compels you.
Something compels me exactly to do that, and I think
Correct.
it's as it should be. But I
Outstanding.
can't drift.
No,
Can't
yeah.
Fall
drift,
away.
then-
And you
then-
don't, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Good for you, man. What a great story. I really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. You know, our podcast is experience, strength, and hope, and we want to send that all around the world, whoever needs it. And you were like, you know, this was an incredible show.
I
And we appreciate you coming on.
Me with us. I know you're busy.
Absolutely.
Definitely a busy
pleasure.
guy.
My pleasure.
But my name's Vinny. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
And I'm Sam. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
And I'm Sean, and I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
My man. And you are listening to Tenacious Recovery, the podcast. Got to be tenacious about your recovery if you want to stay sober. And with that, God willing, we'll see you soon.